What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. Last night, the Pittsburgh Steelers played the Sunday Night Football extravaganza in Week 6 against the Seattle Seahawks. And it's hard to say must win in Week 6, but just like in Week 5, we're digging ourselves out of a hole. We had come into this week 2-3, and coming off a little momentum after last week's win against the Broncos. But it wasn't a terribly impressive win. We just kind of controlled the clock, and I was wondering how we'd follow up in prime time against a pretty good Seahawks team who was also coming in needing a win. Seattle was also 2-3, but the biggest problem for Seattle was coming in with injuries. Pittsburgh seems to always kind of get lucky when it comes to playing against backup quarterbacks or teams without some of their best players. Now the Steelers have been laden with their own injuries lately. It's got me tongue-tied because we've been a mass unit of a lot of guys hurt. So coming in fairly healthy today, as we learned last week, and I didn't get to report this, it was after the video went out, but Juju Smith-Schuster is out for the season, so that is another big injury for us, but still gives us more opportunity for guys like Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, who came back this week after missing last week, and James Washington, who's wanted more of an opportunity here. To all step up and kind of be the dominant playmakers at wide receiver. And we saw some of that tonight. Seattle came in, again, you play who's on the schedule, you beat who you got to beat, but Seattle came in, their defense has had a lot of struggles all year. Russell Wilson obviously is the number one player on this team. He's the leader, and he was not playing tonight. So Geno Smith was quarterback. He is the former Jets starter and played for the Giants a bit as well. Hasn't had a ton of starts lately, but came in starting tonight. Also, Chris Carson, the bell cow workhorse running back of Seattle, did not play tonight. So they had Travis Homer came in and spelled a little bit, but Alex Collins, the former Ravens running back, was the main guy. Didn't miss Chris Carson too much. Alex Collins had a heck of a second half. This game was a tale of two halves. Pittsburgh came out dominating, playing really well, a little conservative on offense, didn't have like a great first half performance, but they did get 2 touchdowns in the first half, coming out 14-0, and the defense allowing nothing for Seattle. I mean, shutting down the outside receivers. They have 2 very good receivers in DK Metcalf, who's a strong possession guy who can get over the top, and Tyler Lockett, who's a big game breaker with a lot of speed and good moves with the ball. So those 2 guys were held in check in the first half. Seattle, I think, only had like 60 yards total offense in the entire first half, never got into field goal range, no points. Pittsburgh goes into the halftime 14-0, and you feel very good about that. And the second half was a whole different half. Seattle comes out, rushing the ball and pounding it down our throats to the point where you're looking and going, is this the same team? What is going on? It was exposing a lot of our weaknesses. Alex Collins was breaking tackles left and right. Travis Homer had a couple nice runs. They were just pounding us. And you knew it was coming because you knew Geno Smith couldn't really beat us through the air with his arm. So you knew they were going to start pounding the ball, and they really did. And it was, like I said, it was you almost wanted to turn the game off because you knew a run up the gut was coming, and we could not stop it. We couldn't get enough pressure on the inside. We showed why it was important. We played this game once again, of course. Tyson Alualu's out for the year. Stephon Tuitt has struggled all season with injuries, not played all season yet. So 2 of our front 3 D linemen were down again. Cam Hayward's by himself out there. And it just showed why we like guys like Isaiah Buggs and Carlos Davis and whoever else was out there. But they're not Chris Wormley, but they're not the same as those all-star caliber guys. Alualu and Tuitt are 2 of the best in the league at their positions. And so is Cam Hayward. But to have 2 out of 3 backups on the interior line really showed our weaknesses there. And also missed tackles were a big issue in the run game and in the second half in the passing game. Seattle comes out in the second half, scores a touchdown. We come back and get a field goal to go up 17-7. Seattle then scores 10 straight points. So we go up in the first half 14-0, come down and get outscored 17-3 in the second half, and all of a sudden we're looking at a 17-17 game. And from that point, it is a knockdown dragout. It's a physical game. Najee Harris finally gets involved. Having really, first 3 quarters, he had no running lanes whatsoever. He was effective in the pass game a little bit, had a couple of blocks even, but couldn't do anything running the ball. They keyed on him big time and tried to make Ben beat them with their arm, which is what we should have been doing in the second half with Geno Smith. But we really struggled running the ball until the fourth quarter. When the game wore down, you saw some of that. I made a Jerome Bettis comparison last week. You saw some of that Jerome Bettis running through tackles, tiring the defense out, slowly grinding the defense to get tired. That's what Seattle did to us in the third quarter, and that's what Najee Harris did to Seattle in the fourth quarter. So we saw a very physical, smack him in the mouth, breaking tackles, running, gaining every yard, fighting for every inch kind of fourth quarter. It was a good defensive battle. It was a hard-nosed running game. And Pittsburgh eventually gets the win. We go to overtime, and we get 2 defensive stops in overtime thanks to TJ Watt. We'll get to him in a second. My God. Thank God for TJ Watt. I'm sending a Christmas card to him right now 2 months early. But thanks to TJ Watt, we get ourselves back at field goal range in overtime, and Chris Boswell does the rest. Pittsburgh goes on to win in overtime 23-20. Shouldn't have been as close as it was. Again, having a 14-0 lead in the first half with Seattle's running back and quarterback being down, we should have put the foot on the gas, controlled the clock better, tackled the running backs better, and keyed on that run game, but we didn't, and it wound up being another nail-biter. Pittsburgh wins another hard-fought, heart-attack-ridden game that I'm still recovering from. So the important thing is we went into prime time and got the win. We came back and didn't allow ourselves to lose the lead completely, and we didn't fall apart once Seattle caught up to us. That is something I appreciate. So Pittsburgh goes to 3-3 and gets 2 consecutive much-needed wins. Our division's been pretty tough, man. Joe Burrow being back and healthy and the addition of Jamar Chase for the Bengals has been a big deal. Cleveland obviously has one of the better running attacks in the league as long as they can stay healthy. Chubb, I don't think, played yesterday. So as long as Cleveland stays healthy, they are a dominant running team that's got a pretty solid defense. So as long as Baker doesn't make mistakes, they're going to be okay. We should follow suit there. Najee should be the bell cow, and Ben should be a game-managing quarterback at this point. And then we have Baltimore, of course, who's always going to be in the thick of things. I don't like Lamar Jackson as a passing quarterback, but he gets the job done enough. He is elusive, and he makes that offense move. So we're in a tough division. It's going to be a tough one. We are 3-3, so is Cleveland. I think we're on a bye week this week and play Cleveland next week, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But we've got a division game now to gain another game on Cleveland and get ahead of them in the standings if we win next week or in 2 weeks. So we're gaining ground. We're doing good. We're getting back to where we should be. But it's taken us a while and kind of an ugly way to get there. Let's get to the stats real quick. Big Ben, 29 of 40. A much better stat line as far as completions and making kind of better decisions throwing the ball. Wasn't always 100%, but played a decent game tonight. 29 of 40, 229 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, but did have a fumble lost. Second game in a row that Ben has lost a fumble. This one was mid-fourth quarter. Ben was pumping. He does that pump thing where he pumps to one receiver and throws to the other. Was trying to throw the defense off with that. Came in to throw the ball, and when he started to come back with the ball, when the nose of the ball was down, it came out. Tuck roll kind of situation. Some can say it's a fumble, some can say it's a forward pass. They call it a fumble. I can't argue with them. That's not a bad call in my opinion. So Ben fumbled again. He's got to hold on to the ball. Better decision making and holding on to the ball, especially in the fourth quarter when you're in a barn fight. So that one's a bit tough. Najee Harris, like I said, first 3 quarters, nothing on the ground. Seattle got great penetration. Our line gave Najee nothing in the first 3 quarters. Fourth quarter and part of overtime, Najee was the bell cow. He carried us through that fourth quarter and overtime, starting to break tackles, run through, jumping over guys, getting very effective in the run and the pass game. So first 3 quarters, nothing. Fourth quarter and overtime, when it really counted, Najee stepped up and was the, in my opinion, number 1 leader on this offense. 24 carries, 81 yards. And he also had 6 catches, 46 yards, and a touchdown through the air. So another score for Najee. More good passing plays, a good fourth quarter running. I like what I'm seeing, but we have to variate the running plays. We're still doing all the shotgun inside handoffs, and the commentators even said there's not as much you can do in the shotgun. You should line up under center. When Ben is under center, they can use Watt more. They can play action more. They can use more sweeps. They can do more stuff with their motion and all that when they're under center. So I don't know if it's a Ben preference. We have to variate those running plays more. And the offensive line obviously just has to block better. They're young and inexperienced and just not that good right now. So we have to get better at that. But not a ton of major pass pressure from the Seahawks tonight. So as bad as the offensive line was in run protection, they weren't that bad in pass protection. Wide receivers, two guys really stepped up here. Deontay Johnson, as expected, 9 catches, 71 yards. He was the leader. Couple very nice routes. He did have 1 drop, his first of the season, on a comebacker ball. He had to come back and get low and dive for it. It was kind of a low pass. It was hard to catch, but he still should have had it. It bounced off his hands. That's on him. But still a hard pass to catch. But did catch 9 balls for 71 yards. A couple things, up the sidelines. Made a couple of nice comeback routes. He's very elusive. He just does a lot. He also had a 25-yard sweep run play as well. So he had another 25 yards to his stat line. So almost 100 total yards in this game. He is our best playmaker as far as a pass catching option, a wide receiver. So I want to see him get more and more involved. He can be every bit as good as Antonio Brown. His route running, his speed, his moves, he's very, very good. He got to hold on to the ball, and he has to get more looks. The other guy I wanted to point out on the offense was Pat Freiermuth. 7 catches, 58 yards. I want to get him more involved. I love what he's doing. I love the old, Heath Miller type thing. He can do a lot. He's underratedly quick. He's very spry for a big tight end. He runs through tackles. He's strong. He blocks well. This was the 3rd consecutive game that I'm calling out Freiermuth for a good block. I think it was on the Deontay Johnson run, and there was another play I think that Najee had to the outside where he bounced it, and Freiermuth just seals the outside. He's one of our best blockers on this team. I'm really enjoying Freiermuth as a hard-nosed guy. He's finishing blocks. He's putting guys on their ass, and was really finally involved in the receiving game. Just didn't drop anything. Was just running some simple in and out routes, doing some stuff across the formation. I like what he's doing. He's a good red zone target. He can jump, and he's catching everything. He has strong hands, and he's a physical Steeler type tight end. He has that kind of Mark Bruner physicality with the Heath Miller pass catching ability. I like this dude a lot. I want to see more of him. Thank you, Pat Freiermuth. The other touchdown on offense was an Eric Ebron 1-yard rush touchdown off the jet sweep. Nice play design. No one expected Ebron to get it. He put it in. He also got another 3rd down catch. He's not getting too many options these days, and when he does, he drops a lot of them, but he didn't drop any tonight, so that's good. Nice 3rd down catch and a nice rushing touchdown for Ebron. Defensively, like I said, first half was perfect, 0 points, 60 yards total. Second half, lots of broken tackles, man. There was a play to Gerald Everett down the field that I think Fitzpatrick and Edmonds, or Fitzpatrick and maybe Hayden, missed on. He was stiff-arming guys and running out of tackles. There was another play where Alex Collins bounced off a guy and ran to the outside. That was a miss by Terrell Edmonds that was huge. I think Devin Bush missed one as well in the 4th quarter on Collins. We got to stop missing tackles. That's a big thing. Also, there was a couple of plays where Cameron Sutton, who was back today, good to see him back, missed some coverages and got beat for a couple of plays. DK Metcalf had a couple nice catches. I think he had about 60 yards, mostly all in the second half. So yeah, a couple of pass plays for Geno, putting the ball in a good place, and our coverage was meh. But the broken tackles and stopping the run game and getting a backup team in 3rd and long would have been crucial. Second half, we allowed 20 points, not the best, but made a lot of splash plays. Here are the splash plays. TJ Watt, biggest game star, biggest gold star of the game for TJ Watt. 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and 3 batted balls. He had 2 sacks, both in the overtime. One to end the first drive for the Seahawks, and the second one was a sack forced fumble coming across. Was blocked by like 3 guys. Came out, Geno Smith stepped up in the pocket. Watt came around 3 guys, got a strip sack, which he's the best in the league at getting strip sacks. So 2 sacks and a forced fumble in overtime, getting the ball out of Seattle's hands, setting us up in field goal range for the win. Incredible. TJ Watt, incredible. Like I said, got that forced fumble, batted down 2 balls to the line of scrimmage. The Watt swat also hit the quarterback's arm on a 3rd play, so affected 3 other passes. He is the best in the game. He is worth every damn penny we paid him in the offseason and more. Cam Hayward, big day as well. Also had a sack and a batted ball. We got back to our pressure. This was the first time in like 2 or 3 games we got more pressure on the quarterbacks. Cam Hayward, man, was dominant in there. Got a lot of backfield pressure. Couple tackles on the running backs. Like I said, batted ball at the line. Got a sack. Devin Bush got a fumble recovery on that TJ Watt overtime strip sack. Tried to spin around and run it back to the end zone. Didn't get there, but got us into field goal range. So good for Devin Bush. Alex Highsmith, his biggest game of the season. I like what I saw out of him tonight. He got a sack and a half. He was getting a lot of pressure. Also got a nice tackle on the backfield on a running back. He was looking spry today. It was his best game. Chris Wormley's best game as well. 0.5 sacks. He split the 1 sack with Highsmith. And also a batted ball at the line too. So he made 2 good standout plays there. We got to see more consistency out of the interior line. We got to see guys like Bugs or Wormley or Davis step up. I like Isaiah Loudermilk. I gave him a little shout out today. He doesn't play as much as he should, but when he gets in there, I don't see his number in there too often, 92, but when he is in there, he actually makes plays. I would put him in right now. I know he plays on the end, kind of the same as Cam Hayward does, a big, similar style, a physical, big, kind of a little plodding, but a physical guy. I like Loudermilk right now. He made one or two plays in there and didn't play too much. I would stick him in the starting lineup, maybe even over a Bugs or a Wormley, because I'm not seeing Carlos Davis or Bugs or even Wormley make that many plays. Wormley did have a decent game today, but I would stick Loudermilk in there and let him play more. Also, big shout out Trey Norwood. First game of the season against Buffalo, Trey Norwood was one of the biggest players we had on the field, and he was again today. Third downs, he made 3 massive plays. One was a stand-up tackle when they needed a few yards. Another one was a very good coverage play that he knocked the ball down on third down. And the third one, I think, was also a tackle. Norwood was reading well in the inside. He was playing the ball well. He was standing up on third down with good energy, making good tackles, playing strong. That's a big knock on him, is his physicality. He was physical tonight. He was reading the quarterback well. He looked like he was spry out there. It was one of his better games. So against Buffalo and here against Seattle, he showed up big time. Arthur Maulet got the start tonight and didn't play badly. He's around the ball a lot. I like Maulet, but Norwood really stood out today. So Maulet and Norwood keep going back and forth on who's going to be our starting slot corner. I like both those guys. Keep both those guys involved, just like we did last year with Hilton and Sutton kind of in the slot doing different things. Maulet is kind of a big physical run tackler, and Norwood is kind of the read the defense on the pass guy. So it's like Norwood is the Cam Sutton, and Maulet is like the Mike Hilton. So I like that combination there. So yeah, started off very strong, ended up way too close like the Steelers always do. But again, we found a way to get a win. We got a primetime win against an underrated Seattle team who's a lot better than their record indicates. We're now 3-3 going into the bye week. Got a chance to get healthy, get some guys back. I would like to see Stephon Tuitt hopefully come back and help the D-line. I want to see more of Loudermilk. I want to see more of Norwood. I want to see more of Najee Harris being the team leader. I want to see Deontay Johnson getting more deep shots. He deserves it. I want to see Pat Freiermuth get more opportunities. So we've got a lot of young nucleus guys that are showing up big time, rookies for this team. And with 2 wins in a row at 3-3 going into a bye week to get healthy, you got to feel decent about it. We have a long climb to go in a tough division, but we're looking a little better and we're showing signs of life with us being a rush-heavy team on offense and a pass rush heavy team on defense. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe to this video to see more of them. I'll try and get this video up earlier next week, and I will see you soon, Steeler fans.